So, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on behalf of the ILCN. We're so glad that you can be here with us for this webinar today on community-based conservation and sustainable livelihoods in China, Indonesia, and Mongolia. We have three great speakers lined up for you today, and our conversation will be moderated by Shenmin Liu, the ILCN regional representative for Asia. Shenmin, over to you.
Thank you, Robin. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Shenmin Liu. I'm also the director of Sumu Nature Park in Hangzhou, China. It's a privately conserved area on a mountaintop, and we work with local communities to do forest restoration and nature education here. Our topic today is community-based conservation and sustainable livelihoods in Asia. Actually, CBC has emerged as a core approach to safeguarding nature in Asia. Local communities play a central role in biodiversity governance and natural resource management. We have speakers from Mongolia, China, and Indonesia today, showcasing actionable methods to realize the win-win balance between conservation and sustainable livelihoods for local communities, offering replicable experience for regional ecological governance and community development across Asia. Our first speaker is Dr. Hajaba Yakanbai from Mongolia. He is the director of Environment and Development Association. He served in the Ministry for Nature and Environment for more than 25 years and was team leader on community-based natural resource management. He is also a core member of several national and international coalitions in Mongolia, including ICCA Consortium. He is going to present the case from Mongolia. So welcome, Dr. Hajaba. You can share your screen and let's hear from the case in Mongolia.
Thank you, Shenman. Okay, I share my screen.
Yeah, you can try to click your PowerPoint slides. Perfect.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So my presentation is community-based conservation and sustainable livelihood of pastoralists in Mongolia. So in this picture, you see a pastoralist actions in our study sites. About few words of rangeland conservation and livelihood. Mongolia actually is large pastoral agriculture country. We have around 1 in 100 million hectares of rangelands, and it's almost pasture land, and 8.6 million hectares of forest. So these are main resources and commonly used. And we have totally more than 300,000 herders households. This has more than 58 million head of livestock on 2025. This includes horses, cattle, camels, yak, sheep, and goats. Pastoralists currently greatly impacted by climate change, desertification, and land degradation. And pastures in many places in Mongolia is as common resources. So therefore, community-based rangeland management is very important. And same time, pastoralists are custodians of rangelands, and they also family food producers. So issues and challenges in pastoralism in Mongolia currently, this, like, as I mentioned already, it's land degradation, desertification, and dust and sandstorms, water scarcity, with connected climate change and anthropogenic use. Also, unsustainable use of resources, natural resources such as like mining, that's also impact of rangelands, and the loss of tradition, which is Mongolia has from generation to generation pastoral agriculture traditions, but nowadays we are losing depending on migration and other sectors development. Also overgrazing and high growth of herd size after privatization of animals after 1990. Mongolia is Mongolia's transition country it was transition from centrally planned from Soviet style economy to free market system from 1990s. So that's why we need policy support and clearly legal and policy support. That's needed, I think, during the transition time. Still now is completing, but still we have such kind of transition on the way. Yeah. So we are like researchers, our organization and myself, we are involved at the main side. We are last 30 years, we are working with community-based rangeland management. So our activity focuses on multi-institutional and holistic approaches, bottom-up approaches, and same time learning by doing. So local community members, herders, and pastoralists, together with other stakeholders like researchers, students, governments, and others, trying to bring different voices on community-based rangeland management. These pictures of our activities and trainings during our field walks in the communities. So we have, of course, as I said, Mongolia is traditional pastoral agriculture country. So in our cases, herders in the communities are main stakeholders. We are saying it's primary stakeholders, and including the herders and communities and local government, of course, here, back, and some governor, that's our local district and sub-district. And then secondary stakeholders, which is other communities, other herders from belong to the other community, or economic units, private sector, and other partners, which is we are regarded as secondary stakeholders, which they have different roles and responsibilities. So during our work, we try how to bring conservation and sustainable use of rangelands. That's why communities enter co-management agreement with governments, local governments. So that's our main approach on bring everybody participate and everybody roles and responsibilities clear on rangeland management and the conservation. So that's like herders and community has agreements between them how it is use common resources, because rangelands common resources, and with local governance like sub-district and district governments, they have different roles and responsibilities. These pictures, they are developing co-management contracts, negotiating, discussing among the stakeholders. And so after all agreements, they approve. And recently we have law that these co-management agreements as a main legal base for use of rangelands and conservation of biodiversity at the community level. So until now, of course, co-management and community-based co-management supported by most of committee members, almost 90 or 80%, 68%, and also more almost 50 and 98 local were supporting because they are different ecosystems and different approaches. Sometimes they tend to be different opinions, but in general, the supporting is high. That's why we already have laws that the community-based management should be based on legal arrangements. So after the establishment of communities and institutionalizing and legal base is clear, we need to improve capacity of committees, committee-based natural resource management. So in this area, we are working with committees on ecological capacity building, like sustainable management of pastures and ecosystem conservation, economic capacity like sustainable livelihood, different types of diverse types of livelihoods, and co-management, social and equal participation. That's, I think, more crucial for all communities, even Mongolia and maybe other places too. So in ecological conservation capacity building, we are testing different natural resource management and conservation methods and different modules of shifting and rotation of pasture, because migration and mobility of pasture land is the main strategy, and to protect endangered species, plants, and wildlife, to assess pasture carrying capacity, calculate pasture degradation. Actually, we also implement some local level and national level resources accounting, degradation accounting. And then we are trying with the organization involving even heritage and other NGOs on participatory monitoring and evaluation register by local people involved, and protect highlands, and also protect water points, springs, lakes, and rivers, and to allocate forest resources to the communities. So then they regulate the forest cutting regimes, like cutting technologies, including thinning and artisan reforestation and forest protection from fire, from fire and other disease, and so that's also communities on that involving. In this picture, we are communities like protecting the highlands by fencing or reseeding, so discussing the different methods. So economic capacity, of course, we need more livelihood opportunities. Communities introduce different livelihood opportunities, like that's why we conduct participatory research and test different experiments. Then during that, communities and learn by doing by themselves. We are involved students from universities for different tests to increase household income, and then to establish community fund, even community women group fund, and then different livelihood opportunities like animal husbandry, that's more milk, dairy products, which is very sustainable. Also we try to bring another livelihood, new livelihood, diversifying livelihoods like tourism, handicrafts or vegetation growing and so on. So in general, in Mongolia, we have Mongolian model of community-based resource management, which is based on pasture user groups, establishing forest user groups, and natural resource management groups. So in this picture, in community, we understand this community is a like Mongolian traditional structure, like hotel, which is camps of herders, which is economic unit, and social unit, which is neighboring herders, like in this picture. And then ecological unit, which is occupying all community area, but like we are saying, nutrition, it's just like herders from same areas, same watershed, same mountain, and same valley. So that's our model, and currently we have more than 1,500 organized user groups, forest user groups, and almost now 30 million of rangelands now contracted for the sustainable use and conservation, and 3 million hectares of forest also contracted for community, allocated for the community management. So we also, from these communities, we select more progressive, more advanced ones, because all the, of course, they protect in the conserve nature. So we are working with like we told some of them like ICCAs, like local community conserved areas, like of territorial life, because the territory of pastoralists living them a long time regarded as territory of their life, and we are trying to government and local government and central government to recognize communities as custodians of territories. So therefore, in last 2-3 years, first time in Mongolia, we several local communities considered as ICCAs in Mongolia. So that's also new approach. And for example, in this community like Bayambulak, which is in forest user group, forest community. So they established in 2006. So they have 2,000 hectares of area, more than 2,000, from which 1,100 is rangeland and pastureland, 1,000 is forest land, around 170. So there are total number of households around 12 families. Like you see here, the action is to more training and collaborative actions, and they of course protect wildlife. Like in this, you see, like they have protect these species like red fox, Siberian deer, Arctic and the cedar trees, larch bush, and the willow. Also plants like they have more valuable for their case, like medical falcata, Bromus ilmus, Aropilum cristotum, or so on. So that's, and they have replant protecting and also trying monitoring the growth of this species. And the community every 5 year develop and implement forest and pasture management plan with more conservation approaches like forest and wildlife conservation, rangeland conservation through shifting and rotation, and of course more attention to livelihood and the restoration of rangelands. So in Mongolian case, of course, the ICCA is like they together living with in harmony with nature. These communities already registered to global ICCA registry, and they also updating their activities like In this case, like marking of territories of life, because this is very important when they marking territories, they more recognized by local people, local communities, and other heritage. And or same time, like they protecting water sources, like in this case, they fencing the spring, which is water sources for animals as well as human for around here. That's very important. So these kind of activities implemented in all our sites. Here we have like this is in Gobi Mirage, which is another ICCA. They also working protecting with wildlife species in Gobi Desert area. And here, high mountain area, one community. They also traditionally lifestyle and protecting traditional lifestyle, and same time as they protecting like wild goats, ibex, or argal, wild sheep, or snow leopard, or other snow cock, or other biodiversity species, and then community implement sustainable livelihood opportunities like marketing of milk and dairy products. And from that products, they establish community fund for protecting wildlife and the restoration of rangelands. That kind of things also very important, that community will interest in incentivize the activities to protect and conserve wildlife and conservation of nature, including rangelands. This is also, we are now trying to legalize, trying to include in the government to recognize the importance of local community conserved areas like ICCAs, and through that way we are working with national, local stakeholders, governments, and as a partners. So that is all, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hajaba. And actually, my background is also the similar landscape rangeland in Qinghai and Tibetan
Yes,
Plateau. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's move from rangeland in Mongolia to community protected area in Qinghai Tibetan Plateau, China. So our next speaker is Chunyue Wei. She is a project officer at Shanshui Conservation Center. She took part in biodiversity monitoring and community-based conservation work on the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau and its adjacent regions. Now she is working on the research and promotion of OECMs in China. So let's hear from her about the conservation story in China. And if you have any questions, you can type in the Q&A box or raise your hand in the end. We'll answer them together after the three presentations.
Okay.
The floor is
hello,
yours, Chunyue.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect. The cute snow leopard.
The leopard, yes. So yeah, hello everyone. Thank you, Shenming, for the introduction of me and our Shanshui Conservation Center. I'm honored to be here to share some of our community-based conservation practices on the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau on behalf of our colleagues. So first, a brief introduction of Shanshui. We are a Chinese NGO dedicated to species and ecosystem conservation, trying to find practical ways for human and nature to coexist. Our work spans across China, from the wilderness areas in the western part of China, focusing on community-based conservation, to the megacities along the eastern coast of China, where we promote urban biodiversity-friendly management and restoration in collaboration with citizen science. So today, focusing on the community conserved areas, we have partnered with 57 communities and over 40,000 residents with a total conservation area of 1.23 million hectares. Of these conservation areas, 43% are within protected areas and 57 are outside protected areas, so as potentially other effective area-based conservation measures, the OECMs. So most of our community conserved areas commonly starts with monitoring and then gradually develop conservation management and finally build sustainable livelihoods. So today I will focus on the Qinghai Defended Plateau, especially in the Sanjiangyuan region, which means the source of the Yellow, Yangtze, and the Lancang, the so-called also the Mekong rivers. So this region with an average elevation of about 4,000 meters, it is a critical ecological security barrier and also a global biodiversity hotspot. In 2021, Sanjiangyuan became one of China's first 5 officially announced national parks. It actually implements an innovative policy of 1 ranger per household, employing over 17,000 local rangers for daily patrols and also providing livelihood supports to the local households. The landscape of Sanjiangyuan consists of alpine meadow, shrublands, and rocky mountains. So the local Tibetan communities, they have lived here for centuries. Their traditional culture and deep respect for nature have long supported the people to coexist with the wildlife. But today, this region also faces growing challenges such as climate change, ecosystem degradation, and human-wildlife conflicts. So as I have briefly touched upon, our conservation work includes 3 core pillars. So community-based monitoring, targeted conservation actions, and then sustainable livelihoods. Together, these actions strengthen community resilience to climate change and also build collective governance over the communities' their own land. So first, commonly our conservation work starts with community-based monitoring, which not only helps us to get to know the region and to collect biodiversity baseline data, but also more importantly, led us to build connection and partnership with local communities. So over the years, we have built a monitoring network covering 8 sites in Yushu Prefecture, Sanjiangyuan, engaging nearly 300 community patrollers and deploying around 600 camera traps. So these camera traps have already recorded 367 snow leopard individuals and 67 common leopard individuals. We're also exploring new and advanced techniques for wildlife and grassland monitoring, such as GPS collars and drones. So here shows the mammals and birds in the Sanjiangyuan region, including snow leopard, common leopard, gray wolf, lynx, Pallas cat, blue sheep, etc. So I will briefly introduce the general workflow of how we build a community-based conservation network. So first, in the preparation phase, we collect the basic community information, especially the willingness of the community to participate in monitoring, as well as we also secure government approval and support for monitoring. The network actually builds on existing wildlife patrol system, as I mentioned before, using the national park patrollers if possible. Next, we discuss with communities to let them select patrollers using their own method, either by election, volunteering, or government assignments. A monitoring plan is then developed with these patrollers to guide the placement and timely setup of the cameras. These patrollers are further trained on camera setup, maintenance, data collection to develop their monitoring skills. And they further conduct field work every 3 months, retrieving the cameras and SD cards. The data are then processed and analyzed by us in collaboration with research institutes such as Peking University. And finally, these monitoring results, such as the species list and the beautiful wildlife photos and videos, are shared with the patrollers to highlight their contributions. And also the patrollers, they can name a snow leopard if the camera they're responsible to set up film the snow leopards. So Yunta village is one of our oldest monitoring sites, starting from 2013. Initially, the local residents just wanted to prove the area's ecological value to prevent mining. So they joined the monitoring scheme voluntarily. Throughout the years, 14 patrollers take charge of 45 camera traps. It's actually surprising that in such small area of 250 square kilometers, it holds at least 35 snow leopards individuals, making Yunta one of the first village in China to count the snow leopards based on the community's own monitoring efforts. Such high density of snow leopard also confirms our assumption that Yunta is a very critical snow leopard migration corridor. Based on long-term and solid monitoring, we're also able to analyze snow leopard distribution and population dynamics. So in Yunta, the number of snow leopards is steadily increasing with a rate of 1.02. We also documented the territory shifts and individual replacement of snow leopards over time, as shown in the middle maps. These polygons marks the activity range of each snow leopard. You can see there is a clear shift of the snow leopard's activity range across years. At a larger scale, our network and also our partners' data collaborating with the local communities enabled the world's first large-scale snow leopard population assessment in the Zhejiang region. So across the total area of 363,000 square kilometers, we estimated slightly above 1,000 snow leopards, which is a major breakthrough for the global conservation of snow leopards. So in short, the monitoring does more than collect data. It actually builds skilled patroller teams and raises the conservation awareness not only for the patrollers, but also in their families and the villages, and strengthens local governance and community empowerment, and thus laying a solid foundation for further conservation actions. So based on monitoring, we have co-developed and implemented targeted conservation actions together with the communities, addressing local threats such as grassland degradation and human-wildlife conflict. So in many of the communities we work with, we facilitate the community to establish a community co-management committee or cooperative, where the community members together discuss the current threats, and they decide on the conservation plans and their collective actions. The committee is also in charge of the management and evaluation of conservation actions to make sure that these actions are effectively implemented. For example, the Jiatang grassland in the Sanjiuyuan faces severe degradation from overgrazing, human activity, as well as climate change. Since 2021, we have partnered with local residents to restore a total of 170 hectares of grassland. But this restoring story is not all successes. It also comes with failures. We're summarizing the lessons and the key enabling factors, drawing on traditional knowledge and our experimentation with different materials and techniques, such as the 6-seed mix and seeding methods, fencing enclosures, hoping these experiences could provide useful reference for grassland restoration in other similar regions. Another major challenge on the plateau is human-wildlife conflict. So brown bears, they break into houses, forage at waste sites, and occasionally attack people when they encounter people. And snow leopards and wolves and other carnivores prey on livestock. So this together cause economic losses and safety risks to the local communities. We are trying an integrated approach of combining prevention and compensation. So we have cooperated with over 600 households to install physical barriers using different methods such as electric fences, razor barriers, and reinforced doors or windows. And we are testing the effectiveness of the different kinds of techniques and promote the most effective practice in a larger region. Moreover, AI-based early warning system, as the as this picture below, helps to alert the local residents when the bears are near waste sites, and the residents can get an SMS text when the bear appears. And also we complement the government-initiated wildlife damage insurance with the philanthropy funds for the communities to build a community-level human-wildlife conflict insurance program to reduce the financial stress of community. And also publicity manuals of human bear conflict guides are distributed to improve safety awareness. Beyond such conservation actions, we are also encouraging and supporting the communities to develop alternative livelihood options, such as ecotourism and handicrafts, to boost local income and also reduce their reliance on natural resources and building their climate resilience. A flagship example is the Valley of Cats, which is an ecotourism program in Angsai village in Sanjiangyuan. So the visitors could enjoy wildlife watching, hiking, and landscape viewing, and also nomadic life or cultural experiences, while the local families provide guiding and accommodation services. Based on our long-term monitoring, we actually found Angsai has a very beautiful landscape and also rich biodiversity. So the visitors could easily observe wild animals, even the snow leopard, and which shows high market potential to develop ecotourism. Also, the local government as well as the community is supportive of developing the ecotourism. So the ecotourism program works in a way that government leads, community governs, and the society participates. So the governments they provide a concession mechanism for from the National Park Administration, and the community took charge in the daily operation and management of the ecotourism. And social organizations like us participate to provide technical support and also external supervision for the ecotourism work. The community actively engaged in all phases of the work, including selection and periodic assessment of the host families. And also they collectively decide on the price, as well as the stakes and revenue distribution of the ecotourism program. So for the revenue, 45% of the revenue goes to the host families, and the 45% goes to the whole community, and another 10% is left especially for conservation. We hold a series of capacity building and training for the guides and for the host families, building their abilities to provide quality service to the visitors, such as how to introduce an animal to them and how to set up a room and cook to better accommodate these visitors. Together with the communities, we design itineraries and routes, and we also discuss with the communities to draft documents and regulations for different actors, such as host families, visitors, photographers, to ensure that they have a good visit experience while also minimizing their impact on nature and wildlife. Since 2018, this ecotourism program has generated considerable revenues of more than $376,000 to the community. Moreover, we also found that participation in such an ecotourism program boosts the conservation awareness of the community. So the host families, they hold greater intention in reducing livestock and also more positive attitudes toward wildlife. Other than ecotourism, we also support local featured handicrafts. So in Jiatang grassland, 12 women produce the yak wool felt crafts featuring Tibetan folks, like these folks in a rectangular shape, and also Palace's cats. So the cooperative formed by the local women has earned nearly $30,000, which not only empowers the local women, but also increase their participation in the community day-to-day work and also the conservation actions. So this knowledge and experience we have accumulated with these communities is also shared with other communities across the plateau, as well as other surrounding countries such as Nepal and Mongolia, through extensive networks of ICCA, OECMs, and also snow leopard conservation networks. We hope these models could inspire more communities facing similar challenges to initiate their own conservation actions. So to sum up, I have briefly listed some of the lessons we learned. So first, it's important to secure government support and also learning the relevant existing policies that we could utilize at the initial stage of a community-based conservation program. And also, it's very important to ensure the full engagement of community and their autonomy in decision-making in all phases of such programs. Meanwhile, the community-based monitoring is not only about data collection, but it also helps the community to learn about their homes and boost their community conservation enthusiasm, as well as improve their governance structure. Also, it's very important to periodically evaluate the impact of such conservation actions and livelihood initiatives, not only on ecosystem as well as, but also on the local community, such as their attitudes towards conservation and wildlife. Also, such work could be done through a piloting approach, and which could iterate via a long trend of trial and error, and after which we could find the most effective practice and to scale up and also implement adaptive management based on the feedbacks that we collected during the implementation. And also for complex conservation threats, we need to use integrated measures such as what we used for the human wildlife mitigation, which not only focus on the prevention, but also on the post-conflict compensation. And also for the community, it's important to have regular capacity building so that they can gradually be more involved in and take charge of more of the conservation work. And also it's important to develop a diversified and innovative incentive mechanism, which is not only about money, but also for many of the community members, different elements such as sense of ownership, recognition by the whole community, and also peer encouragement is important to incentivize them to better involved in conservation work. And that's all of my presentation. And thank you very much for our partners, and thank you for your attention. And I hope to discuss more later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a fascinating case. Especially, I visited there my in person. So I strongly recommend to all the attendees, like if you can visit there and have the guide to show you the wild animals there is amazing. And so the past two cases definitely shared lots of similarities and challenges, and we'll come back to that in the Q&A session. I already see questions coming in, and we'll address them in the end. So now let's hear from the practice in the Southeast Asia. So move from north to the south. Our last speaker is Emmanuel Huda. He's the Indonesia Country Director of People Resource and Conservation Foundation, PRCF, with over 30 years of experience in community-based forest management, biodiversity conservation, and sustainable livelihoods in Indonesia. He also has extensive experience with international donor, government institutions, and local communities to deliver measurable conservation outcomes and sustainable development impacts. So let's welcome Emmanuel to share the story in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Salmin. Good evening, everyone. I will share.
We can all see the slide now.
Our activity from Indonesia, especially in West Kalimantan. West Kalimantan specific in Kafoslu Regency, this area It's important landscape which rich biodiversity and strong indigenous and local community stewardship. Through collaboration with community, local government, and partner, we continue to explore practical model and balancing conservation objective with community well-being. Next slide. Next slide, please. I will introduce our organization. Persist Indonesia is a non-profit organization working in biodiversity conservation in community empowerment. Can you share about Persist Indonesia? The second slide. Sorry. Okay. Currently, any two program in West Kalimantan. One about no, still back. One about the Forest for Life program is implemented in the Lau Bersatu, covering an area of approximately 1,430 hectares located in Langalau village. The other one, manual in the Rimba Collective Forest for Future program, is implemented across 5 village forest area, namely Batang Tau village forest, covering approximately 335 hectares. Nyoi Peningun village forest, covering approximately 4,160 hectares. Punjung Batara village forest, covering approximately 1,995 hectares. Bumi Lestari village forest, covering approximately 1,285, and Bukit Belang village forest, covering approximately 2,250. The next. Since 2011, Persist Indonesia has been developed a conservation approach in Kapuas Hulu Regency through a payment for ecosystem service mechanism based on conservation outcome. The program implemented through Indonesian Social Forestry Scheme, which provide legal access for community living include and around forest area to manage state forest for up to 35 years. In Indonesia, the social forestry program consists of 5 official schemes that provide legal access for community to manage forest area sustainability. For village forest, or the first one is village forest or hutan desa, and next community forest community forest, and then customary forest, and the other community plantation forest, and the last one is forest partnership. We believe that conservation will be more effective and sustainable when local community become to the main actor in forest management and benefit directly from the protecting natural ecosystem. Our approach is supported by 3 main pillars. First, institutional governance to strengthen local institutional, improving participatory governance, and building community capacity to manage forest resource transparently and sustainably. The forest governance is supporting community-based forest protection, biodiversity conservation, land use planning, forest monitoring, and sustainable natural resource management. In sustainable livelihood, we developing community enterprise and sustainable economic opportunity to reduce pressure on forests while improving local well-being. Through this integrated approach, the program aims to create long-term conservation outcome who also strengthen community resilience and sustainable development at the landscape level. The next. I will tell you about how the mechanism of the payment for extreme service. all appropriate project must be undergo third-party validation and verification under an appropriate voluntary scheme such as the Climate Community and Biodiversity or CCB standard, or plant people and the others. Conservation project funding agreement will take the form of the ecosystem service outcome purchase agreement, through which the SPV will secure exclusive right to verified habitat conservation, arising from the project that can be registered using the third-party registries such as the IHS Market Environment Registry in the name of the SPV, and then the retired to provide the public record of the compensation process and avoid double counting credit. If you see this scheme, we get the conservation liability, and any assistance, any facility from the SCCM or Rimba Collective to make a MOU with us, with PRCF, and PRCF collaborate with some village forest to implement the conservation program. And every year we produce annual report to send the SCCM or RC program, and SCCM can send to the client. From this one, we get support fund for 25 years to implementing like training, patrol, or sustainable livelihood or rehabilitation. Okay, next one. Yeah, the next slide we share about how the benefit sharing distribution from this funding, positive fund, we share to the community about 65%. We organize a fund over 31% to make planning, monitoring, certification process, and the other. And community can do activity for their training, operational, forest patrol, forest rehabilitation, conservation awareness, or livelihood development. Also can support their monthly salary also. Okay, next. For the capacity building, we facilitate some training about like the village forest management training. This training on village forest management and to strengthen the capacity of the community and forest management institution in sustainable forest governance, including forest planning, protection, utilization, and monitoring. Any forest patrol training, we use the smart patrol, smart application to do the patrol in the field, to documentation or collect data on biodiversity and the threat from the people also. We use the drone, any drone use training to support forest monitoring. Any forest-free control training, this training to enhance community preparedness and skill in forest and land fire prevention, early response, also fire suspension and risk mitigation. For livelihood activity, we facilitate business management training. Also, for promotion, we facilitate the social media management training, and for mitigation conflict, we facilitate GRM preparation, facilitation, or grievance redress mechanism. Next, we see the community patrol. Community patrol activities are designed to strengthen participatory forest protection and monitoring system involving local community directly in safeguard forest area. Patrol locations are systematically mapped using a grid-based approach to ensure effective coverage and monitoring of the forest area. Patrol teams are selected from the community members, consisting of the approximately 10 people per team, including both men or women in a correct inclusive participation. Patrol activity are conducted regularly once every month to monitor forest condition, detect threat, and prevent illegal activity. Data collection and monitoring activity utilize the smart patrol application and camera trap to improve the accuracy of the reporting, biodiversity monitoring, and evidence-based forest management. This is a picture about the team from one village in Tanjung, and also some activity with camera trap. Okay, let's see Pitswem forest patrol and social care activity. Next, the patrol activity in the Pitswem forest area are carried out regularly by community patrol team to protect the ecosystem from illegal activity, forest degradation, and potential forest and land fire. These patrols are essential for maintaining the ecological function of wetland as important carbon sink and biodiversity habitat. Monitoring activities also support early detection of environmental threats and strengthen community participation in sustainable forest management. In addition to forest protection activity, the program also promotes social care initiative for local community as part of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. A portion of the forest management fund was allocated to support community affected by the crisis. Assistance was provided in the form of basic food package distributed to households in the Nangalau village, demonstrating the program commitment not only to environmental sustainability but also to community welfare and social solidarity during difficult time. Next, we can see some flora diversity in the village forest. Okay, next slide. Usually in lowland forest, tropical forest, you can see like some Soria family. In fauna diversity, you can see some reptile, tortoise, frog, some primate, also aves or bird. And next, also in the next, you can see the result or small short film. Okay, this is biodiversity conservation from the Pitswem forest. You can see the Borneo langur in Nangalauk village. Also the conservation status is critical endangered. Also you can see Tomistoma or Boya senyulung and orang utan Pongo pygmaeus with the status critical endangered also. In Borneo, we have 3 species with the orangutan, but in our location, still focus in Pongo pygmaeus. Okay, next. Okay, in the camera trap finding, you can see we get some animal like this one. I don't know if we can see the film. This is the sun bear in Asian small crowd otter. This is otter. We can yeah. Okay. Okay, the next activity is about the forest rehabilitation and forest fire control. Target for the our planting in Forest for Future program, 270 hectares, but in Forest for Life program is 500 hectares. Forest rehabilitation activity are carried out to restore degraded forest area and improve ecosystem function through the tree planting, investment planting, and natural regeneration effort. This activity aims to enhance biodiversity, strengthen carbon sequestration capacity, protect water resource, and support the long-term sustainability of forest ecosystem and community livelihood. In parallel, forest fire control activity are implemented to prevent and reduce the risk of forest and land fire, particularly in peat-swamp forest area that are highly vulnerable to fire. This effort include community awareness campaign, fire prevention patrol, early detection system, establish of the fire response team, and training fire suppression technique. Okay, next. The next we see one business, how they manage the water business. The drinking water initiative developed through the KUPS. KUPS, the Social Forestry Business Group, is the community-based enterprise aimed to providing access to clean and safe drinking and water while supporting sustainable livelihood for local community. This initiative utilize and protect forest ecosystem service, particularly water source originating from well-preserved forest area. Through sustainable forest management, community are able to maintain water quality and available while generating economic benefit from environmentally responsible business activity. The KUPS is responsible for managing the drinking water system, including water collection, processing, distribution, maintaining, and financial administration. The program also strengthens local institutional capacity, encouraging community participation, and promotes awareness of the importance of the forest conservation in securing long-term water resource. Okay, next one. The other commodity is about the forest honey. In forest honey, the next slide. Forest honey developing the forest honey development initiative in Nangalau village and Penepian Raya village are community-based livelihood program that promote sustainable forest utilization while supporting local economic and forest conservation effort. The two villages have significant potential for forest honey production, with estimate yield ranging from 5 to 10 tons per year. This honey is harvested from forest area dominated by peat-swamp forest ecosystem, which contribute to the unique characteristic and natural quality of the honey. However, honey produced in peat-swamp forest area generally has a relatively high water content, which can reach up to 29%. To improve product quality and meet the Indonesian national standard, efforts are needed to reduce and maintain the moisture content to around 21%. Improving post-harvest handling, storage system, and processing technique is therefore essential to ensure product quality, market competitive, and longer shelf life. To strengthen product quality assurance in traceability, community producer has established an internal control system. This system helps ensure consistent harvesting practice, product standard, quality monitoring, and sustainability management among honey producer group. The next about the public awareness. In the program, we want to make sure many community involved in the program. So public conservation awareness activity are carried out to increase community understanding and participation in protecting forest ecosystem and biodiversity and natural resource. This initiative aims to strengthen environmental awareness among local community, youth, school, and other stakeholders through the education, campaign, discussion, community outreach, and participatory conservation activity. One of the important platforms supporting this effort is the Village Forest Festival, a community-based event designed to celebrate and promote sustainable forest management, local culture, and environmental conservation. The festival serves as a space for knowledge sharing, cultural performance, exhibition of local products, traditional art, conservation campaign, and community engagement activity. Okay, next, the scholarship. Before we implementing the program, the community suggest how this program can support their child to get the fund to go to the university. So we allocate the program some fund to support the scholarship for their child, for this the child to go to the study in university. Currently, about 15 students per year can get fund to them to study in university. Okay, the next one. We also care how the woman can involve this program. We provide opportunity and space for women involved in the decision making and implementation of activities such as activity planning, activity implementation, monitoring and evaluation, decision making, leading the LPHD, patrol and rehabilitation team, fire control team, managing the social forestry business. We hope minimum 40% can involved in this program. The next, the challenge. The challenge, we know in implementing the program, nothing runs smoothly. We can see some challenge from this one. The next slide. You can see the first one, external pressures remain high due to, can back again. Can back slide. Okay. External pressure remain high due to timber price, plantation expansion like palm oil or gold mining. The other one, change in village leadership or management often lead to change in priority, loss of program continuity, and internal conflict. Also, many village forest locations are difficult to reach, lack internet access, and have high logistic costs. And in implementation of the PACE program scheme, the main challenge include high validation, verification costs, complex data requirement, long-term monitoring obligation, and market uncertainty and benefit sharing. We can continue to the lesson learned. The next slide. Yeah, we know the community or we cannot implement the program alone. So we must create how with the collaborative management, how collaborative with the government, private sector, also supporting from us also, from the NGO. We need the strong and consistent commitment from the community also. We need policy support and synergy from the government. We need long-term financing commitment, and we need assistance, empowerment, and independence from our partner. The next slide. I think the last one. Okay. Yeah. This is we prepare the contact person if any complaint from many stakeholder. Any specific mechanism how community can manage if any problem or complaint from the community also. I think this information that I can share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Actually, across Asia, around 23% of land mass is estimated to be recognized or as owned or managed by indigenous people and local community, IPLC. Actually, that number can be higher because lots of the land are not legally recognized. So therefore, like engaged community can achieve huge conservation progress, especially towards the global biodiversity frameworks, the 30 by 30 goal. And we also see the lots of shared challenges such as unsecured land tenure, insufficient policy and financial support, weak community participation mechanisms, and conflicts between ecological protection and economic development. So through the brilliant case in 3 different countries, we definitely learned a lot how those we can see how those NGOs are engaged with communities and create all those kind of incentives and mechanisms to engage community and help with the sustainable livelihoods. And we received lots of questions in the Q&A box as well. So I'll select some of them and pose that to our speaker today. So the first is to Dr. Hijaba. So we already talked about those challenges such as climate change and the low ecosystem quality. So what is the national strategy? Oh, actually, sorry, the one to Dr. Hijaba is what the way to forward you're taking to minimize those challenges that still happens daily in Mongolia, such as to the rangelands and the challenges such as climate change. So in your case, what methods you're doing to minimize those challenges?
Thank you very much, Kangin. Yes, according to your questions, I want to highlight 3 directions about the improving community-based management and conservation. Of course, first one is because there a very high impact of climate change in drylands and highlands like Mongolia, which is very desertification and land degradation is in the drought, which is we are saying cold winter. It is some joint impacts of this desertification and climate change is highly impacting on community-based national management and conservation. So that's why one thing is to adaptation to climate change, adaptation measures. Second one is to improve diverse livelihood systems. And the third one is to support, to recognize ICCS and through different tenure systems and policy arrangements. So in area of adaptation to climate change in Mongolia, because we seeing that current number of animals, which is Mongolian case, we are focusing on common resources area, common land area, not like in my case, I'm present, the usual area is not outside the protected area. So we need to regulate balance of animal numbers with ecosystem capacity, like ecological capacity of rangelands. That's a huge issue now in Mongolia, because animal numbers now more than sometimes some areas 60 and 70% than pasture carrying capacity. So that's why we need to adjust, to work with local communities to adjust the animal numbers to the carrying capacity of rangelands through the way of like improving quality of animals, new breeds, or changing animal herd size structure, which is Mongolians like animals use it as a indicator of wealth. But in that case, in ongoing climate change, we need to adjusting animal numbers with carrying capacity of pasture land. So then we need to more from natural nomadic pasture system to in some case to more attention on preparing like hay or fodder or winter days, which is extremely cold or extremely drought seasons, that we will bring to restore haylands and assist to national regeneration of rangelands, with account that wildlife also consumes the also rangelands ecosystem services like grasses. So calculate and include this is like at least 30% of pasture capacity should be allocated for wildlife consumption. So that kind of thing is in communities where now we need to focus on ongoing climate change. Second one is, of course, we need diversified livelihoods, because like with improving Kashmir prices, the goat number is very increasing. So we need not only like income source Kashmir, but we need to income sources others. Like we are now trying to bring more livelihood, more income sources, like through marketing or processing milk and dairy products, wool and animal other products like Kashmir and animal wool, skins and others to make other kinds of products that can be sold on the market. So in this way, we are trying to actively involve community members, in particularly, for example, in concerning the milk and dairy products, we are promoting women groups to work more on like processing in area which is dairy products high price, like goat cheese or yak milk, goat milk, or black goat milk, something like that, which becomes to more prices for communities and more price for herders to compensate their income from reducing the animal numbers in line with capacity of pasture land, which I told in my presentation that this is more attention at community level. Of course, and third is more tenure systems policy, because rangelands is a common resources. So everyone is rangeland used without any taxation or grazing fees, and or just free of use. That's not degrading rangelands. So we now, with the government, trying to improve the grazing payment taxation system. Also, we need to improve rights of herders for the mobility, because through mobility they can also protect grasslands, same time also protect and conserve wildlife, because through resting or through shifting, they can do more inputs for conservation of wildlife and biodiversity, and that's why we need more on like valuation and including carbon markets, like bring the ecosystem services through the way of improving regeneration, assisting naturalization of grasslands through carbon markets, like that maybe more attention herders to as one area which can be more benefit on as inclusion of environmental services to the prices, and which is because destroying the rangelands, it's always negative externality cost. That externality cost should be included in prices, and that price should be marketed. So we are trying to include this way on community members more conserve and rangelands. And then finally, in regarding to ICCAs, of course, we are working on OSMs, like as Shin said, we also cooperating with our Chanchu Conservation Center, because we are working on other OSM systems, like not outside protected areas. So we need that government support OSM mechanism, as because to go to the target 30 to 30, Mongolia now 21% of territory is under protected areas. So go to 30-30, we need to recognize the land and the community conservation ICCAs. Then government support, government include it is in the national programs, and recognize the importance of community conservation and ICCAs in Mongolia. That more directions what we are focusing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hajab. Definitely, yeah. And in China, the same. Like we are, especially what Chunyue is doing is also promoting OECM and hope to engage more partners and stakeholders to taking action all together. And I have some other questions for Chunyue. Chunyue already typed a lot of answers through chat and Q&A already. And another question is how will the community develop some self-organizations or community-based commercial organizations to be like self-sustained without the helping or financing from NGOs or other parties? I think to both Chunyue and Emmanuel, because like you also mentioned lots of like the ecotourism and eco products. So can the community be self-sustained already, or what other financing mechanisms you're using, and what's the share of the communities with your NGO? So go ahead, Chunyue, you can start first, and please keep the answer short because we only have 6 minutes left. Thank you.
I think I will answer the first question. So from our case, the communities, they built the self-organizations or the so-called cooperative in China. So this cooperative, they can hold and manage the ecotourism and also the handicraft activities. But in the initial stage, they actually need external help, like from social organizations like us in different matters such as financial affairs, and also drafting an overall management mechanism for the cooperative. But throughout the process, they gradually built their own capabilities in running the running the livelihood options by themselves.
Okay, thank you. And Immanuel, how about in Indonesia?
Yeah, for forest management, in the village, they create this a group we call forest management unit. So this group not just work for the conservation activity. This group work for support the institutional strengthen and conservation activity and support the livelihood activity. So this group also create the small group like the self-help group uh, to manage the one commodity like for forest honey or drinking water, the fish or the coffee. This we our plan this business must success because from this benefit from this one can share to conservation effort, also to support the social activity in the village also. Yeah, I think almost same like in Chunye. Thank you.
And we may have the time for last question for the three of you. What is the biggest challenge you face in piloting community-led conservation in your country? I think, yeah, there are lots of shared challenges as well. So name one, like the most like important or the most vital one you're facing in your situation and in your country. Dr. Hajaba?
Yes, thank you. Yes, in working with communities, main challenge is communities evolving always. Community evolving inside the community structure, also changing, use also migrating, or cities and urban areas. So that kind of thing is more impact in our activities and challenges. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chunyue?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges sustainable funding. Like as we have mentioned, there are many sustainable livelihood initiative and programs, but I think for currently these programs just support parts of the conservation work, and there are definitely, and also this initiative or programs need to be more developed and also have maybe connect to a greater visitor or consumer group, and to be more advanced and generating more income and sustainable revenue for the community to continuously conducting the conservation actions.
And Immanuel?
Yeah, to manage the forest by community is not easy. So also the process of self-reliance takes a long time, depending on the condition of the community. Also, therefore, we need long-term commitment to support this program. I hope we can create the collaborative program integrated with the government or the other party like the private sector to support this program.
Thank you so much. And we're almost at time. And thank you for the amazing stories. And also we have participants also joining from Africa. And she said also we shared lots of similarities and hopeful for future like collaborations and more conversations, discussions to come. And we'll definitely share the recording to all attendees. So please watch your email box and we'll send the recording soon. And thank you so much again for the brilliant presentation. Thank you for your time and looking forward to other webinars and topics coming soon. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening and good morning or afternoon to other people in different regions. Thank you.